Hey there, and today I'm doing another list, and I've brought along my friend Alex, or Bama, also his channel Renegadeprof, which we've worked on before, we've done loads of videos, and he's been on this channel before.
Yeah, it was part of the Edgar Wright video.
So another list, and I thought I'm going to do a list of the SpiderMan films, ranked, and if I'm going to do that, I need to bring along my resident SpiderMan expert friend, Alex, big SpiderMan nerd.
I am my favourite superhero.
And provided with ridiculously oversized sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
Which, yeah.
Do you understand the reference at the moment, guys?
So we're going to go through the live-action Spider-Man films and rank them from worst to best. There's 7 of them. We're excluding Spider-Verse, because that's its own thing, and it's fantastic.
I'm also excluding the 1970s one.
Yeah, just the 21st century, like, proper Marvel films, the cinema ones. So we've got the Sam Raimi trilogy, then the 2 Amazing Spider-Man films, and the 2 in the MCU. And we have slightly different takes, but we also kind of agree. So we're just going to go through each one and then discuss from there. And we're going to go through Alex's order and then we'll see where I agree and disagree. So let's start off the very bottom. What's the worst?
Okay, here we go. Now this is quite funny because when I saw it in the cinema I geeked out. And it's just good Spider-Man, and I've come to realise my taste. And I'm a lot stricter on my views. So the bottom is Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, question. I agree with this. See, this is just the worst one by far. It doesn't work at all. There's too many characters. It's clunky. Too many characters. It sets up like 7 films. Doesn't do anything.
The Goblin's terrible.
Yeah. The whole, we're gonna go full on spoiler mode. But like the whole thing is Gwen dies and then in 20 minutes he's back to normal. So it's a waste of a film.
Yeah.
Doesn't even.
The death scene is good though. That's the best thing in it.
That is the best thing in it.
Because that's very close to the comic.
Yeah, and it has like that. It has potential, has a good actor, has a good cast. You know, like Jamie Foxx is in it, like, you know.
And I had a crush on Emma Stone, so that does help.
Yeah, so there's all the. That's why you liked it.
Wow.
But like, yeah, I've always thought this is trash. I thought this is the worst one by far.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
It's sort of the thing that Spider-Man 3 had, which we'll get into.
But what's good about it is that it was so bad it crushed the franchise and had to bring him into the MCU. So something good came from it. Some
positive came out of it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just easy. Okay, next worst, number 6.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, same. Like this is actually, I think, an okay film. Like
it's average, yeah.
Yeah, I would describe it as a film where for every good thing there's a bad thing. If there's a good scene, there's a bad scene. If there's a good character, there's a bad character.
The worst scene is the Uncle Ben bit.
Yes.
With great power comes great responsibility. He says, "Oh, if you do this, you have a moral obligation to do so," or some bollocks. Just say with great power comes great responsibility, because you've made that take about a minute for no reason.
The problem with the film is that like they tried so hard to not do what the previous films had done,
Raimi ones,
and it just got lost in it.
They messed it up.
And the thing that's really interesting is Andrew Garfield is a fantastic actor. Like outside of Spider-Man, he might be the one with the best back catalogue of like work. Like every film he's in outside Spider-Man, he's been fantastic in, and they're all great films. But then in this film, he was just like he looks like he's 30 in the film.
Yeah.
And like he's meant to play like a.
He's too cool, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, is it CinemaSins that did it? They were about this likeable, cool teenager who's now the most disliked person in school for no apparent reason, basically. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's.
and the villain is the Lizard, who's like really rubbish as well.
Although it is Eyeball Paul from Kevin and Perry.
Oh yeah. It's something like there's no reason for it to be as bad as it is. I mean, obviously it was a pointless remake just to get money.
Cash grab,
yeah, to keep the franchise going because they're rightfully going to expire. So it's obviously like made for dodgy reasons. But like, they should have just made a Spider-Man 4 instead of rebooting it. And especially since they rebooted it in a way that was weaker than the previous film.
And the reason why they rebooted is because they didn't want the villain as a lizard. So then they did a film with the lizard.
Yeah.
Sony, sensible. As always.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
No.
And like
very much like the Venom film. We're not talking about that though. I can't be bothered.
Although that would be, I think, about this level. And if I was doing it, like I'd put it about this.
Yeah.
This sort of place.
I'd rather watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 than Venom.
Yeah, I think I'd say something like that. Yeah. The other thing that I would say in Amazing Spider-Man's defense is like, at least it's simple. You see the next film,
that's it. It's clear.
They have like 3 times as many characters, but each storyline is as bad as this one.
They don't know how to write it.
So it just all falls down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one.
Number 5.
The next one is Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I would agree with this. This is definitely the 3rd worst.
Yeah. And it's the same problem that Amazing Spider-Man 2 had, but they can do it better. well, as better as it can be, which is the fact it's so clunky with characters. I mean,
Yeah.
Sam Raimi didn't want Venom in. Apparently, there's a rumour that he just said that because people were onto Venom before it was
There's
announced.
tons of bullshit about what they wanted in it, but the studio, it's a case of studio fuckery.
Interference again.
Yeah, studio fuckery ruined that film.
And it's Sony, who are terrible
Sony, yeah.
cinema.
Yeah.
Stick to games, you could do
Yes. Stop making
that.
films.
The Spider-Man
Seriously,
video game that
stop
came
making
out
films.
is probably the best game
Um,
from Spider-Man.
To be fair though, they might actually stop making films at some point, because, like, they're not doing very well. But, like, yeah, like, I actually think the problem with it isn't, like, unlike so the problem with Amazing Spider-Man 2 is every single storyline's rubbish, and then there's too many storylines, so it quadruples the rubbish. The thing about Spider-Man 3 is that, like, the storylines themselves aren't necessarily bad. Like, the Sandman storyline could be okay. Like, the storyline with Venom, you know, they could have done okay with it. Like, I actually like the dancing Peter Parker bit.
Oh yeah, that's great. I should do that.
And yeah, that's a great scene.
Mm.
And, like, there's other like all the strands are fine, but it doesn't really come together. And the other thing I would also say is the first hour and a half of this film are really good and actually better than some of the films that are going to come high up on the list. And then it just all falls apart in the final act. The final act is worse than so much.
Just to prove how clunky it is, it felt like Sir Harry. I mean, obviously spoilers. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we watching. Basically gets hit in the head, and then he forgets that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and that's so forced. It's like, shit. I've got about 3 villains here.
Got to get rid of one for 2 hours and then bring it back.
And then bring it back as he remembers. And then his fucking butler. Oh, I cleaned your father's wound, Harry. He came from his glider. What the fuck were you into?
Yeah, like Spider-Man 3 is a mess.
It's like his face. His face is exploded. It looks like Freddy Krueger's testicle. And then... Oh yeah, now I'll tell you. Now I'll tell you that it's not Spider-Man's fault.
It's a bit like, if you want to nitpick a film, Spider-Man 3 is nitpickable forever because it has so many individual little flaws.
The other thing that pisses me off about it is that the retcon the Uncle Ben death.
Yeah, I agree with this. I think the biggest problem with the entire film is that they undo the entire growth of film 1 and 2 because they change it, and it changes it changes where Peter Parker's guilt is placed, which changes the whole point of 1 and 2, which is about him learning how to do the right thing and avoid guilt and gain responsibility. If you take away his responsibility, then what's Spider-Man stand for?
Exactly.
It's a silly...
You feel that Spider-Man would be a dick if Uncle Ben never died.
So this is kind of the whole thing with Spider-Man 3, is like, obviously studio fuckery has ruined the film, but also, at its core, I'm not convinced Sam Raimi was doing the right move anyway. He did a good job on the first 2, but then on the third one, his idea to undo the Uncle Ben thing was a bad idea anyway. So maybe even without the studio fuckery, maybe if there was no Venom, who knows if the film would even be as good as the first 2 anyway. It could still have been a bit of a flop.
Exactly, yeah.
But, yeah, like it's definitely a disappointing film.
But I mean, the whole thing is Spider-Man is supposed to have a good heart. Regardless, anyway, I suppose. Yeah. There is, just to go off on a bit of a tangent, but there's this comic book series where they all turn into zombies. Yeah. And Spider-Man turns into a zombie and then he ends up feeding on people's brains, everyone becomes zombies. But he keeps relapsing and doing it, and he feels really bad that he keeps eating people's brains. And then he stops for a while, because they end up expanding into the universe. And then they all start feeding on other planets and basically take over the universe, all become zombies. And then, so he relapses again when that happens. And then, when they figure out how to do into a different universe, he then stops himself and destroys everyone, if I recall. And stops them coming into our universe. So that's the whole point of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Have a good heart.
That's it, yeah. And they lose that, I think, in Spider-Man 3, which is a real shame, because it is a shame that Sam Raimi's trilogy ends like that, and that it had to be rebooted as the Amazing Spider-Man series. Okay, but let's move on to the next one. So this is where the disagreements are going to come in. What do you place at the 4th best Spider-Man film?
Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, I would place this higher, personally. But yeah, like, I think we agree, this is a good film.
Oh, it's just a great film.
Yeah, this really works.
Yeah.
The problems, like, obviously the Green Goblin costume is goofy as hell and doesn't hold up with time. But, like, as an origin story, it's pretty good. Mary Jane's a nice love interest. It kind of, for an early 2000s superhero film, it does everything that you want it to do. And you know what? It launched an entire subgenre, so, you know, gotta give it respect for that as well. It doesn't really do anything that's incredibly profound, and it doesn't go anywhere that, like, is, like, amazing, but it does what it needs to do perfectly.
Yeah, yeah. And also the bit in the prison, not the prison, the bit in the cell. Steel Cage. There we go. That's what I was after.
Oh yeah.
It's like the movie Steel Cage. Where you got 3 minutes. You're going nowhere. It's playtime or whatever that guy is.
Yeah.
But then he gets hit by the chair and there's no Spidey sense.
And I also said that Uncle Ben's death, unlike in Spider-Man, Uncle Ben's death is nailed in that.
Oh yeah.
Like they get it right.
It's clunky again, Amazing Spider-Man. But yeah, Uncle Ben's death is great in that.
Yeah.
I love the transition when he's running through when he dies and then he puts on his costume, the terrible costume.
Yeah.
With all the wrestler costumes, was it? And he's running through the alley and the way they film that with the effects.
Like, yeah,
very good.
And the other thing that's really good about it is, or not good, but interesting is like it's such a small scale. So when you watch it now, it's a small scale story compared to like the MCU, compared to where superhero films have gone. And it's kind of a nice. It's interesting how small it is for what a massive film it became.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it's just a solid origin story.
Yeah, that's it. Like
and also they had biological webbing.
Yeah, they changed the.
Instead of web shooters.
But this is your remnant of the early 2000s. Is like they change all the origins anyway, which is something that they don't do as much now. Now they try and keep it more comic accurate, but back then the studios fucked around a bit, which is why Wolverine's different, Spider-Man's different. They're all a bit different.
Yeah. Is it biological webbing? Yeah, I mean, it's natural webbing.
Yeah, it's not. It's not from web shooters.
Yeah, which he does eventually get in the comics, but that's after he turns into the Man Spider.
Yeah.
And
But I believe they did that in the comics after the films came out.
Yes.
Because the films became the dominant media for Spider-Man, so people started thinking that was how it was in the comics, and the comics thought, okay, then we'll fit it in.
Because eventually, I was in the comics, he does mutate into Man Spider anyway. So yeah, that's Spider-Man 1. There's not much else to say. It's just a good film. So
now into the top 3.
Okay, so this is where it differs. Mine's Homecoming.
Yeah, once again, I agree Homecoming is better than the Spider-Man. So I just would also place this higher again. On my list, but Homecoming's a fantastic film.
Yeah, you got Tom Holland, the MCU, Tony Stark. It's just a good film.
Yeah, Michael Keaton is a brilliant villain.
Oh yeah.
He's one of the MCU's best villains. He's one of the most layered villains in Spider-Man cinema, and also they have that really nice twist, which is that we don't know that he turns out to be the dad of that girl.
Yeah, which I've forgotten her name.
But it works so well within.
It is
the film,
a good twist, yeah.
And that scene is really good.
And it became memeable as well.
Yeah. And the whole thing just really holds up because the action is so good, and because it actually has a very nice arc for Peter along the whole thing. It's about learning, because in the MCU they avoided the responsibility stuff directly with Uncle Ben. They have to go about it in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think the way they do it works because it's a lot more intimate and a lot less just one scene that defines everything.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the costume as well in it looks good.
I also think it's a very funny film.
It is quite a funny film. It's very comedic. It's got Hannibal Buress in.
Yeah.
Is it Burgess or Buress?
Burgess.
Yeah, sorry, Hannibal Burgess. Because I love Eric Andre show.
Yeah.
And he's in it as the gym teacher, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the fact he's in it as well. The costume's good, but there is the one thing, and I always used to find the costume looks weird, and I watched a video on why, and it's because of the fact that it doesn't show really wrinkles. Because it's supposed to be material, so as you can see, like, our shirt's slightly wrinkled. But it's so smooth.
Speak for yourself.
Oh hey. Oh hey. It's so smooth, that's what she said. That
that no one notices.
That yeah. That it looks weird on the eye. And it's sort of when I did graphic design, 3D modelling, we got told that if you did something, let's say something's metal, if it looked perfect, it looks weird on the eye. So what they do is they put scratches on and a bit of muck and a bit of dirt, blah blah. And it makes it look more natural, like it's real, because nothing's ever that perfect, and our brain knows that nothing's that perfect. Ego flex, and that's kind of the problem with the costume. But it does work on the eye in Spider suit because it's metal.
Yeah.
So obviously smooth makes sense. The glare and shine. That's the best costume.
But the thing is that that's because it's reflexive, and so it's not smooth. Like when you look at it, you see reflections. It's not if they made it so it was like just flat line and it was completely opaque. It would look weird. Okay, but then the next film, this is second place. This is our only big disagreement. Where do you place? What's next?
Far From Home for me.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would place this 2 places lower, and just below the original Spider-Man. I'd place it above Spider-Man 3 and below the original Spider-Man, and that's our disagreement. But why do you rate it so high?
I just love the tone and feel of it.
Yeah.
And also, Mysterio's a villain that I've known for a while from comics.
Mysterio's he's a great villain.
And obviously, like, I know it's all projections because that's what it is in the series. He does projections. But I still like the way they did the twist. So I was waiting for the twist. I just didn't know where the twist would eventually come in, and I like the way they did it.
Yeah, I did.
It's really good.
I did like that twist, and I do think the best part of the film by far is the visuals and the hallucinations.
Oh, yeah, it's so cool. Yeah.
Like the thing I would say about it is, like, I think it's a really good film, like, for starters, but it's definitely, I think, kind of going through the motions. It's just kind of bland. I don't think it, like, nothing about it captures me in the way that, like, Homecoming was just a blast, and like and the way that the best Raimi films are, like, really deep. It's just kind of, yeah, it does what it needs to do, but it doesn't excel at anything, you know. Like,
I think I was blown away by it. I think it was great. I did enjoy the story. The comedy was good in it.
Yeah.
I thought so. The problem I had with Homecoming was the way Mary Jane was portrayed, which of course you only find out at the end, but still, rewatchable hindsight. And I think the comedy was way better in Far From Home than Homecoming.
I felt like in Homecoming it was a bit lower, and I like that. I feel like I think some of it in Far From Home was just, like, too long and over like the whole thing on the bus was, like, long and like to me that was just like they could have cut that out. But, like, I don't get me wrong, like, I like Far From Home. Actually, perfectly good film.
But I like the fact that he gets the Edith glasses.
Yeah, like, that's nice. Like,
that's so cool.
Like, it's nice that, like, what's interesting that they've moved in the MCU films. They moved away from Uncle Ben being the father figure to it being Tony Stark, which is an interesting way of moving. I don't know whether or not Tony Stark is our father figure is necessarily.
Well, if it's in the comics, he actually hated Tony Stark.
Yes, I don't know if it's, like, the cleverest. I don't know if it's, like, the best way to do it, but it's certainly an interesting distinction.
It's nice, and also you can see when he builds his suit and Happy looks on, it's a homage. It's like he's becoming, like, the next Tony Stark. That's sort of the look.
Yeah.
When he designs his own suit. So that's going to be cool. That I love all the tech. Especially since at the end you find out that he's then being put on blast and everyone knows that he's Spider-Man, Peter Parker.
Yeah. The best part of the film was the twist at the end, because I'm not really intrigued where they're going to go with it.
Go with it, yeah.
Okay, but then
Number one's
so obvious.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it just has to be. It's the one. It's the one with, like, all of the themes that a Spider-Man film needs. It has
superhero themes, Peter Parker themes.
Like it's all about learning to be the hero. Learning that even if you aren't a hero, you've made your own decisions, and, like, that's what matters. Like, learning to grapple with the moral self, learning to grapple with identity, and, like, it's about all these things that's also just being a kick-ass superhero film, which is just really cool. And Doc Ock is just hands down the best villain in the franchise.
What, like,
in the
comics,
in the Spider-Man films?
Oh, in Spider-Man.
Yeah, in the comics, different question.
Sorry.
But in the films, Doc Ock is just
the
rules
best villain. Yeah.
Like, he's.
Although I do like the fact that it was just this one little inhibitor chip above his neck. That suddenly break. This one chip will stop me going.
But the other thing is that, like, they have that whole thing. But the thing is that, like, he's a lot of it comes from that character's own guilt because his wife dies as well.
Yeah.
Which is, like, so, like,
he succumbs to it because his wife dies.
Yeah, so, like, it's layered in a way that the other films don't really, in like the way that a lot of the other films don't approach.
And also you can see the Sam Raimi thing, like his artwork of direction when it's the hospital.
Yeah, because the two things Sam Raimi does are comedy and horror really well, which is why the Spider-Man films are kind of an odd thing for Sam Raimi to even direct, because they're not comedy films.
The comedy is good in it.
But the comedy in Spider-Man 2 is amazing, but then there's that. The horror sequences are like amazing too. Like, the one scene in the hospital, which is horrific, is with the claws. It's such a well-directed sequence because Sam Raimi knows what the fuck he's doing in that genre.
Yeah.
And when he's given
we got the trope with the sliding with the fingernail.
Yeah. And when there's opportunity to do that in the films, he nails it.
And
this is the thing that the MCU films don't have, and the Amazing Spider-Man films don't have, is that they aren't genre. Is it, like, although they do adhere to superhero genre conventions, they don't have a director from another genre kind of going in there and doing his own twist on it. They're kind of studio managed, micromanaged and controlled. Whereas and Spider-Man 3 as well a bit, but the first two Spider-Man films, it's Sam Raimi does what Sam Raimi wants to do, and the studio were like, who knows how big Spider-Man will be? Just let it go, let him do what he wants. And in later films, when they micromanage everything, you see why you don't get something like Spider-Man 2 again.
Yeah.
Because they don't allow a director to throw in a horror scene and to be so.
Well, you had Spider-Man 3, for example.
Yeah, and you don't see, and like the Amazing Spider-Man films have no artistic sensibility whatsoever. There's no attempt to be anything but a studio product that ticks off all the things they need to do to, supposedly make a profit, which they then didn't do.
Yeah. So yeah, I will also say that my two favourite films happen to be the most Peter Parker films, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say.
Far From Home is very Peter Parker. It's a very similar thing.
I would say the more the films focus on Peter Parker, the better they generally are.
And they both have the same thing of they're realising that being Spider-Man's not everything it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
And they do want to just be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And that's what both of them show as well.
I think both being I think the second. I think generally speaking, superhero second films are the best films in the trilogies usually, and I think this really shows in the Spider-Man trilogy, where Spider-Man 2 takes everything because it's not bogged down by an origin story, but similarly, it's not bogged down with concluding anything.
Although Amazing Spider-Man 2, of course, isn't a massive exception.
No, that's an exception. But like but if you look at the Blade films, Blade 2 is the best one. The X-Men films, X2 is the best, and Days of Future Past is the best of that trilogy. Like Captain America 2, like number 2s tend to be the really strong ones. Yeah, but obviously there's exceptions to that rule.
So we agree on that one.
But
so then we're gonna go on to the actors that.
Well, let's just go through. Yeah, let's just do the eras. So there's the Raimi era, Amazing era, MCU era, and I think we have a clear ranking here.
It's Raimi's era.
Raimi era is the winning era.
Then MCU, then Amazing.
Yeah, the Raimi era wins because it's just so it's a nice piece by itself. The MCU era might possibly be better on average because it hasn't got like a film that lets it down, but it kind of belongs to another thing. And it kind of doesn't really have its own identity. It's just like like if it wasn't Spider-Man, they could kind of find another character from the MCU to take that role. And then Amazing Spider-Man just is an all-out mess, so that's just clearly the worst. But actors-wise, how are you gonna?
So the best Peter Parker is Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
The best Spider-Man is Tom Holland, which then means that Andrew Garfield's the worst.
Yeah.
Because he's too cool to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He did do well as Spider-Man, but then Tom Holland over Tom.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But then Tom Holland's found this new.
Well, actually, I would say Tobey Maguire was the best Spider-Man than Andrew Garfield. But what I would say in Andrew Garfield's defence is of the three actors, I think he's the best actor in if you look at his career outside of Spider-Man as well. He as a whole, he is the best collection of work, like stuff like Silence, Under the Silver Lake, are amazing films, and he's fantastic in them. Whereas Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire haven't done many good films outside of the Spider-Man films.
Yeah, I get
But
that.
within those films, they are the two better ones. And I could debate all day who actually is overall better. I think Tom Holland maybe edges it because he's so consistent. Whereas Tobey Maguire's there's moments that Tobey Maguire doesn't nail it, but they both have strengths.
So now our favourite actor, who was in the Sam Raimi and MCU, is
J.K. Simmons as J. Jameson. It's just the best casting.
Oh yeah.
It's it's the best.
Wait for Chinese New Year.
It's so perfect.
He's amazing.
Like he nails every scene, and he is the living embodiment.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, he's the best person in it. And when he was in Far From Home at the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the best.
Amazing.
The best piece of casting the MCU ever did was bringing him back.
Oh, definitely, it's genius.
He's so perfect in that role, and
That's it then. Right, I think we're done.
I think that's pretty much it. That was kind of just a long.
So
chat.
you're watching this on his channel, but please check out my channel, Renegadeprof.
Link in the description. And as always, if you like what we talked about, give it a like.
Should we do my sign off?
Go on, sign up if you want.
No, we say it together. So please
like, comment, and subscribe, just like you've been doing since 2005.
Boom, and peace out.
Man, we messed that up.
Anyway, cheers.